Okay, then thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, Martin, again, for inviting me and for giving me this opportunity to talk about what probably some of you have already heard about in recent times, but to just give you a little bit of the perspective behind it and then explain what we are doing and why we're doing it. First of all, I'm very happy to finally have an audience where I don't need to start with an explanation slide about Hyperloop. It's a new experience, but still probably up to like 2 months ago, not many of you had heard about TUM Hyperloop for quite some time. Probably some of you guys remember this kind of pictures from Munich. That was when we were still taking part in the SpaceX Hyperloop pod competition. This was back in 2018, and if you spot me in the picture, you will see that some time has passed. And you might have been wondering for some time what Munich has been up to in terms of Hyperloop. Sorry? The guy with the glasses over there. He looked considerably younger. Yes, so for many years, that's how also the initiative got started in Munich. Between 2015 and 2019, we have been we've been working on prototypes like this one. This was the size of the prototypes we were building for the SpaceX Hyperloop pod competition. And I've been asked endless time, why can I not sit into it? And this gave us some thoughts. But in principle, what gave us most thoughts is when the competition ended in 2019, the discussion was indeed going on there. Well, okay, what do we do next? Obviously, a European competition has come up in the meantime. But at the same time, the idea was, okay, in Munich, we have shown winning for competition that we can build something, and also the local Bavarian government was really excited about this Hyperloop and the fact that the Munich team was doing well. And so how can we push this next? And it should be obvious, in my opinion, but there's different discussions over the last couple of years, that the vision for Hyperloop should be of transporting passengers. This is very obvious to me and some other people in this room. We have heard that a couple of times before today. But the long-term goal, at least, should be transporting passengers, since this makes the biggest change in people's life. Really pushing a system that can considerably faster transport people between cities. And so this is what we thought, okay, well, since we are a research institution, the Technical University of Munich is a research institution, we don't need to look at short-term profits. How can we push the Hyperloop vision the furthest? And what we thought is, okay, let us build something for passengers. Let us really look into the technology and build it for passengers. And so what we thought of is, okay, if you imagine, as many of you do probably every day, long Hyperloop tubes and throughout the landscape to transport passengers, let's try to take a first segment out of it and build this. Let's start with a segment, learn as much as possible with the segment so that we can build a longer test track later on. So this is in principle the design we came up to as a first step into the vision of building Hyperloop for passengers. It's a short, relatively short, 24-meter test segment, but in full size, with also a passenger pod. And when I say a passenger pod, I mean you can actually stand inside, as you will see in a moment. And in principle, the containers in the back are mainly for operating, and the Leibold vacuum pump is in there, and that makes the whole track operational. And so on the one side we said, okay, well, we want to build this for passengers. So this not only mean that we need to be able to build it and test it in passenger size, but also bring it a little bit further. And okay, what if we could transport passengers in there? So what if you can actually put people in there? And we found a good partner in TÜV Süd, which has been working on Hyperloop technology for some time, also developed the Hyperloop guidelines that helped us make this actually the first certified segment for passengers. Let me just tell you, this is just the rendering. This is then how it actually looks like. Wait, now. So yes, so 2 months ago we finally finished construction on this. This had a big announcement on the opening at the end of July. And in principle, this is how the rendering looks in real life, the real size pod being brought to the test track for testing. And in principle, this leads me to the next topic. What can we test with this Ford test track? Well, first of all, we can test some critical subsystem. Usually I have to explain what I mean by that. I think everybody of you knows we need levitation, we need propulsion, we need a vacuum tube. In particular, in our case, it's a concrete vacuum tube. We had some interesting discussion yesterday as well. Steel is what is usually used for, but I can also imagine having at least sections of the tube being of concrete one day, so we wanted to start looking at this in one direction, in that direction. And this gave us a chance to test all these single subsystems that can be tested on a short track. I mean, it's not high-speed propulsion, but still as the first step towards high-speed propulsion in the right size. And this was really important to us because we had also smaller sized prototypes before and been able to test that. But the moment you scale it up to a tube which is almost 4 meters in diameter and a pod that's 2.5 meters in diameter and weighs 4 tons, the scale is very much different than something that is considerably smaller, and the problems you need to solve are considerably different. So this also gave us a chance to build everything in the passenger side. As I mentioned in the final step, gave us also the opportunity to have the whole thing certified for passenger transport so that we were confident enough to actually be able to do passenger runs. One important thing that we spent quite a bit of time in, and which is also quite unusual for a research program, and you can imagine myself explaining this to our grant giver, it's that we also wanted to build the inside of the pod to actually have something and not just a chair. I mean, from a research perspective, a chair would have been enough, or 2 chairs, because we wanted to drive with 2 passengers. But we wanted to make it look like something, because since we are planning to we want to push the Hyperloop vision. And so we want to give people something to look at and remember. And this is a picture, not a rendering, by the way. And I think this is something people look at and are quite amazed. And indeed, what we did to also push that even further is a couple of weeks ago, this is in the city center of Munich. We're usually a little bit outside of the city, but we had the chance with the big IAA mobility, a big mobility fair in the center of Munich, to actually showcase the pod there, so that people get the chance to walk to a Hyperloop, to stand in front of a Hyperloop pod, to actually walk into a Hyperloop pod and sit in there. And we really do think it's really important to give people something to see and feel and touch in order to keep the vision that all of us in this room have in their minds, because we work on this every day, but for everybody else it's really important that they get to see something and get to see the progress. And as I mentioned now a couple of times, our goal was indeed to go the whole way and test everything that we could with 24 meters, which included putting myself and a very esteemed colleague in the pod, in the vacuum, and actually doing a test at 10 millibars. In this round, I can be quite specific with details. At 10 millibars, because this is the operating pressure we developed the test track for, and actually doing a vacuum run. Maybe some of you have seen the videos, but since Nevomo had so nice videos in the morning, I'll also show some videos about hardware, so enjoy. There should be... okay. Yeah, okay.
Reached. Okay, we're at 10 millibar and entering the next checkpoint. Starting navigation. Reached nominal Ärger. Starting propulsion. 3, 2, 1. Everyone involved, we made it!
Thank you. So this is just a video of the first passenger test. You probably see one thing which I think is also particular, and I want to highlight this at the end of the video, because our legacy indeed is being a student team, and also this project was done with over 250 students that did their works as part of the project, and just 9 full-time employees. Obviously a lot of support throughout the university to make this possible, but a lot of young people being involved in actually making this a reality. I want to leave you with one thought. And I think throughout the years, in the last 10 years, and even now today, we see a lot of pictures like this. This is a very nice rendering. This is how Hyperloop will, like our test track, looks like. And this is what we had roughly a year ago at the groundbreaking. And then 9 months later, this is what we did. So this is then the whole thing looking. We try to recreate the rendering just to make the point. But I think it's, it's really important that we show people this. It's really important when we go outside, we don't just show, yeah, okay, this is what Hyperloop will look like one day, or this is how it will look like in the future. We need that for sure. But we need people to see the actual hardware and start believing that we can make Hyperloop a reality. So this is why we built a system for Hyperloop, and we actually decided to sit into it. And thank you very much for giving me the chance to talk about it today, and open to any questions. And also if you have any more information, see us our website. Thank you very much.